Okay, this is going to be my first episode of Zap Hacks. So basically, what I want to do with this short segment is really just go through a simple Zapier Zap. For those that don't know, it's an automation tool that's fairly simple to use. And so today I wanted to start with using a social listening tool to maybe trigger different automations based on how your brand is mentioned online based on different social media channels. So this could be a tool where you could use it for kind of customer service to see what people are saying about your brand, proactively address concerns. You could do it for market research. And based on whether the mention about your brand is positive or negative or neutral, you could send it to different teams. You could trigger different automations off of that. So real quick, I'll show you kind of how to build it, and hopefully it's something you can use. If you find it helpful, you can subscribe to our channel. In the comments, you can let us know if there's different automations in the future you'd like to see us build for you. So real quick, I'm going to create a new automation. And so I am going to use a tool called Mention, which I signed up for a free trial. Their subscription started at around 41, I think, dollars a month, so it's fairly affordable. And so I did a couple. So I tried to do Drive Face Consulting. Apparently, no one talks about us on the internet, so not so good. AirDev is actually kind of potentially a competitor of ours. Apparently, no one's talking about them either. So I used Bubble. So there were a few mentions on Bubble. So let me first start. So if you haven't built a Zap before, the first thing you need to do is start with the trigger. So the trigger is going to be, we're going to use Mention. So I actually connected this already. So we're going to do a new mention. And I've already connected my account, but basically you would log into your account here to connect it. And basically on that, we're going to use my account. We're going to use the Bubble one, and then the source. I think we're going to use Reddit. We'll use, and then type. I think we'll just use default, and we're going to continue. And so what you're going to do is you're going to build the automation off of kind of existing data, so you can kind of map fields to where they need to go. So we're going to test the trigger, and there are a bunch of mentions. And so we'll just go into Bubble. Okay, so we're going to select this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to determine whether this is a positive mention or negative mention. If it's a positive mention, maybe you want that to go, if it's your brand, maybe you want it to go to a sales team. If it's a negative mention, maybe you want it to go to the customer service team, or vice versa. If it's a negative mention of your competitor, maybe you want that to go to your sales team, and vice versa. So we're going to use Chat GPT, and then we're going to say we're going to do analyze text sentiment, and then we're going to use, I think that's the same account, and then we're going to hit continue. And then, so for the text to be analyzed, we're going to pull that from the previous step. And so we're going to go into description. That's the description. That's the actual mention in the social media channel. So we're going to take that, and you can adjust these. For the purpose of this, you can leave it as the kind of the standard settings for this. So sentiment analysis is really kind of a yes, no, maybe. So I'm not overly concerned about these. And so once you're done, you're going to, again, test that step. And so basically, analyzed is neutral. So it could be positive, negative, or neutral. So we're going to add a new step. And so we're going to add a path. And so, path A is going to be if in the previous step the sentiment was, I'm going to say, contains exactly matches, because we don't have an example of whether it actually says positive or negative, I'm going to just say contains positive. And then we're going to continue. Actually, sorry. We're going to add another one that says sentiment analysis contains neutral. So that one would have continued, which we know. We're gonna add. Up here. We're gonna add a path here, and so this one's gonna be if it were contains negative. Okay, so from here, I'm not going to finish this out because there's a number of things you could do. So, I mean, one of the things you could do is you could send an email, and then you could send an email to a specific salesperson, and then you could have that body say, hey, look at this mention, and then within that email, you could put details about that particular social media mention. It actually has the link to the mention online. So that's really nice because then they could just go right into it and they could either respond to it or whatever you want them to do. Another thing you could potentially do is maybe you're using Slack. So you could potentially, send a Slack message. There's a number of things that could be done there. So I'm not going to finish it, but at least wanted to give you just an idea of how something like this could be used. So again, the tools, we use Mention, we use ChatGPT. You need a API key for that. And then, we had some different paths based on what this sentiment analysis came back with. So anyways, that's our first Zap hacks. That's something we're going to do on a regular basis going forward. If you have ideas, hit us up, put a comment in the channel, or send us an email. But we're looking forward to hearing from you. All right. Thanks a lot.